is Kagan with Rogue Underdog Duelist. This is a Unchained Deck profile, something I've been wanting to do for a while. It was actually one of the cheapest yet easiest to put together cores that I've ever found. Pretty simple. And it actually likes if your opponent is playing negates and or things that destroy it, because everything in the deck cares whether or not it's destroyed by battle or card effect. So you need 3 Unchained Soul of Disaster, only running 2 of the Abominable Unchained Soul. The engine pieces are 3 Sarama, 3 Rakia. Don't let people lie to you, she is the most important piece. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Arha, he's not really that important, but he does pop on summon for a free special summon. Phantom of Chaos can remove any one of your dark fiends, particularly the ones that special summon and set themselves, and set other cards from your graveyard back to your field. You want to copy those for a single turn. It's like the best normal summon of the deck, I guess. Aside from Tour Guide, she can get you into your Phantom Knights of Breaksword. The reason why you want to pop stuff on your own field with him is so that you can get extra value out of Chronograph Sorcerer. As soon as you pop anything, or say your Unchained stuff is destroyed by your opponents, it's gonna spawn itself onto the field, and that's like one of the big bomb cards to the deck, because I like telling people that they can't play a certain mechanic of the game. So I like turning off all of the graveyard effects. It doesn't stop activated summons from the grave though. Vanity's Fiend, so that I can lock people out of special summoning. It does lock myself out of it, but they have to find a way to get a bigger body on board after they've already played through. Like a Phantasme, Joyous Spring, and Ghost Ogre. And then 2 hand traps that I teched in here that actually bring back all the fiends. All of the dark fiends, particularly the level 8s that you need to link climb, are Dark Spirit of Banishment and Malice. They're good just because if your stuff is targeted, you get to do something. Nightmare Corruptor Ibli, just so that you have a link monster on board and you can meet the link rating of some cards. Called by the Grave, since it's down to 1, a single Dark Ruler no more. Don't want to chance it with that possibly going to 3. Down to 1. Insta Fusion at 1 for a very specific reason, I'll get to that later. Dark Hole, so that you can blow up your board full of monsters and your opponents. Wailing of the Unchained Soul. Allure of Darkness as a draw engine. And Supply Squad just in case. Fires of Doomsday, and then we have our trap lineup, which is very small. Single evenly matched, and the generic Unchained traps where you got Chamber and Escape of the Unchained. They just help this deck go off super easily, and you kind of want all of your stuff to be destroyed, so it's kind of great that your opponent does kind of get forced into doing so, even if they don't really want to and they just want to play a grind game, particularly with Harpies. So, Breaksword, you have tons of level 3s in the deck that you can make these, and you can pop your own stuff, which is actually great. So if you pop your set spells and traps, you're going to get an Unchained monster in place of it. That's your one big negate guy. Now, there's 1000 Eyes Restrict for the Insta Fusion. I have a Japanese promo version. Definitely do go get yourself a reprinted version that's not nearly as expensive. Code Talker, Nightmare Unicorn, Topologic Trisbania, because you want to make your Dark Links outside of the Unchained engine, but you still need them to be generic, okay? Unchained Soul of Rage helps you play through some negates and stuff that your opponent does on their turn that's kind of fucky. Or weird, sorry. Unchained Soul of Anguish. eats your opponent's special summon monsters as link fodder to try and get into Abomination or just Topologic Bomb. Blowing a bunch of stuff up. You always want to destroy stuff with this deck as much as you can, and if you get the chance to get 2 Link 2s on board, you want to go for Mech Knight Abramax because he can close out games. And what is that? The best thing about the Link 2 and 3, the Abominable stuff, Unchained Soul, they go back to the extra deck if they're destroyed, so you can bring him back into your extra deck if you find a way to link climb back into it. If you have played one of these already, and say your Link 3 dies, you can put one of these back into your extra deck after it dies. So very good utility, very good synergy. I love the way this deck plays. Alright, so a single standard combo that's actually really good is, I use it a lot. You can actually pop your own stuff, like the Unchained doesn't really work too well if you end up destroying your own creatures. But this is like a typical starting hand. So you want to normal summon Sarama, set your trap, which is going to be a chamber. It doesn't really matter because the traps, if they're destroyed, bring one from the deck to the hand, or to the field. So you just special summon Aruha. It's going to pop this one. She's going to get, what's that? The big guy in place of him. And that's immediately your Link 2 fodder. But because something on your side of the field was destroyed, you can also special summon and special summon. Now if your opponent chooses to try and activate an effect right here, you're kind of vulnerable, but you do have the Ghost Ogre, which can possibly, potentially end up popping him or him in the stack, in the chain, so which is actually really good. So if you get a chance, you want to pop him again with your Ghost Ogre. She's going to replace it, probably block out your opponent from having a decent target, and you just want to go for another dog. Like, your dog is going to be your centerpiece, because he can start eating your opponent's monsters that are special summoned. It's just going to be him and something else. But if you absolutely have to, going first, this is kind of a good situation because you can always Link 2. Into your Soul of Rage. And if you leave 2 big monsters on board, you already have 2 or 3 Unchained in the grave too. He's going to start getting big. But leave him open because you can quick effect during your opponent's turn eat another special summon monster. So you typically want to try and aim this right in the middle of their combo starting. Like as soon as they start enabling any kind of combos against you, you hit a special summon monster. And just link into the Link 3. So if you can slow them down at the right time and force them to end their turn with like a single special summon monster on board, you can get the very last one. And that's going to turn into the big Abomination. And then you just start destroying their stuff anytime you swing in or destroy anything on the field. Chamber is definitely going to be in the grave though. And that's why it's actually really good to run Sarama. She's another one of those key pieces. She can set the chamber from the grave, and then it has to pop a card on your field except for herself to work. So you want to set the chamber or a trap that you've already used and pop it again to get its effect to go off. And it's just going to grind your opponent down. Most of the time you're special summoning from the deck, so that's hard to stop, and that's what you want. But that's my little combo tutorial. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave a thumbs up. Make sure to check out the other videos from Rogue Underdog Duelists. Make sure to like and subscribe. Peace.